How y'all doing? For this video, I'm going to show off a miniature I just bought from eBay about a couple weeks ago, and that is this. This is a Dragon King miniature from the Dark Sun campaign of Dungeons & Dragons. This is a miniature that a friend of mine had years ago, and he showed me this as well as other selections that he had, and this one right here really piqued my interest in collecting miniatures and painting and such. So, it's very nice. It's a bipedal dragon-like character. It comes with a staff and very tall one as well. I already have two of these. This is the third one I got, and I want to paint it a different color scheme, which I'll show off later in this video. For those of you who don't know, you may ask, okay, you said Dungeons & Dragons and Dark Sun. Well, what is that? Well, it's a campaign, world, very barbaric, in that. Okay, here's how I'll put it. Take a fantasy world like Dungeons & Dragons, which is derived from things like Lord of the Rings and such, all the tropes right there, and make it go through an apocalypse like Mad Max, but instead of nuclear bombs causing the world become a mostly lifeless wasteland, it's by destructive magical forces by beings such as a Dragon King. You see, in the Dark Sun world, in the world called Athos, when you do magic, it drains all the life in an area. Earlier magics, you can drain plant life, but when it comes to reaching a dragon level status, you start draining from living animals and such, and people. And in order to find out more about this, you go to the expansive book, Dragon Kings of Dark Sun. You got the basic campaign of Dark Sun. This is from 2nd edition. This is an expansion book that talks about how to create epic level characters. Normally, Dungeons & Dragons, you start your character from 1 and work it up to 20. This tells you how to make characters of any class from 20 to 30 if they can. And being a dragon is an option for wizards, particularly more maligned defiler wizards. And I'll show you this. Page 40, I believe. This is a process. You figured you started with a wizard who's already at level 20, and then through a series of spells which are hard to gather components, they're questing themselves, getting them prepared and everything. You start, as you progress to a level, you become more and more of a dragon, provided you're successful of it. And once you reach level 4, you'd be a full level dragon. And that's for defiler wizards, which are more malign, uncaring, about the land type of thing. So very destructive. In fact, the sorcerer kings of the cities are at least a level 1 dragon, so they're at least this stage. So that's what this miniature is derived from. It's but it's not a full dragon, of course. It's in the middle of the transformation, but it's still a neat one in and of itself. So let's go ahead and let me take this out of the package and see how it looks. Okay, so now I'm going to open this up and see. Obviously all the parts are here, so just show him off what we got here. Alright, now this doesn't look like the dull lead. The original one was pure lead, and I have at least one of those. This might be the pewter remake. It doesn't have the that sort of dull lead look that they normally have, especially as an old miniature as this is. It may be the fact that it was covered up the entire time. And of course you'll have flash right here. I need to trim off in time. You got this pair of legs, torso and head. Doesn't have wings. It's not yet advanced to that amount, that stage yet. That was a kind of midway transformation. But even if you don't play Dark Sun, this is just if you ever find this piece and you haven't spent too much on it, it's just a wonderful piece to have. It kind of goes together like so, and kind of fits snugly there. It won't be too hard to glue. That's nice. Unlike most older forms of miniatures, as you can see, the arms are kind of this little groove right here. So just takes a little bit of super glue. Hopefully it wedges a bit. I may have to use some green stuff in between, just to fill in the gaps and such. But we'll see. And of course I put this in the wrong hand. No, I put in the right one. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. The arm is raised like this. It's kind of have that come hither look there. So I'll have to clean this up a tad bit, and then I'll glue it together, and we'll show you what the complete one looks like. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, now having put the miniature together, here's the results. As a very nice, bipedal, has his hand out, staff. Now, I have other versions where the arm is more inward. Didn't take long to get the flash out, and also there was a little bit of mold line here on the on his robe. But they derived this miniature from a picture from Brom. It's in the same book I showed you earlier, and that's this one right here. So they just modified it from the original by giving him a staff and upraising his arm. But this is one that it's referring to. So, all right. So yes, now it's put together here. In time, I'll paint it up, show you the results, and compare it to my other two. The one that I painted previously, I painted a nice dark green, and I'm thinking something else, either brown or more desert color. I'm not quite certain. I'll need to look that up. There's no strict color on these. You can sort of think of anything. One Dragon King they've illustrated for the Nimine of the ruler of the city-state named after him. They gave him sort of a purple black look. So I don't know if I want to go that far, but again, I haven't yet decided. So I'm thinking I'm aiming towards brown or to desert type colors. We'll see what I can get. All right, so let's speed time forward and see what I get. Okay, now that I've finished painting it up here, sorry if the previous footage was out of focus. I don't have auto focus on this camera here, so hopefully it's a little bit better this time. Alright, so here we are. Painted it a nice desert yellow on top of a brown base coat, and touch a little yellow on the very highlights, brown scales on the back. I actually am glad how well the eyes turn out. You can't see it from here, but actually you can see painted it red with a white, and you can see the pupil. This was made when just by a little pin of the pupil. So I just put when I put the white onto it, it served as a good white of the eye, and it left the pupil by itself. I love the way it turns out because now I didn't have to paint the pupil itself. So it has a nice stare to it. Let's see, the obsidian orb, I painted the little purple effect swirls. You can't really see it that well. I wanted to be very faint. Gave it a nice blue robe, and as I say, it's very simple. But the staff itself is just a brown with a little wash and a little copper coloring here, and then the bottom of the staff. Painted the cracks. Overall, nicely straightforward. And this is the third one of these I got, and here are the first two. This one was, I picked this up back in the early 90s when I got started with miniatures. We ordered from More Games West, and it was very nice to, it was about $12 when this thing came out. And a friend of mine painted this. I didn't do this one. And this is our early years of painting, so sorry if it's not a perfect job, but I'm not unhappy with it. I always liked this one. And you can see he painted the scales and painted the what the eyebrow areas and the snout with brown color. He wanted to do some sort of magical effect on the staff, so he painted it white. The idea was that magical energy was surging through that. We just painted the obsidian pure black. This is before we understood the concept of washes for shades and highlights. So it's just a flat base coat, what have you. Let's see. We didn't have much metallic paint, so the closest thing we had was just, painting the yellow ring there. We didn't paint the cracks. Again, it was beyond our ability at the time. Now, a few years ago, I went ahead and bought the box set of Dark Sun People of the Land, and of course you get another Dragon King miniature. This one I bought on eBay a few years back because I wanted to paint one on my own. Because, I never painted my own, and I wanted to see how well I can do over the skills I've got. So, again, same color scheme, this time I put yellow highlights. You can see the ribs and all that. And I did a similar purple effect, very faint purple swirl effect on the obsidian orb. And, paint metallic here, and at the very bottom of the staff, left it all sort of a, brown with a blue wash. The red, I put a little shade on that so you can see a little better. Probably could have done some highlights. But again, this is very much serviceable. I painted the cracks this time, nicely done. So more compliments this one, but I didn't want to paint the same color again. So I decided more close to desert theme. I decided to go with a more desert yellow look. You can paint a dragon however you want. Nibene was illustrated by Tom Baxa, and that is kind of purple and black look. It may not be too far. To give it a nice blue color, so whatever can work. So yeah, there you go. And so there's 3 Dragon Kings for you. So how many people do you know about this miniature, let alone have 3 of them? So if you do have it, let me know. So there you go, the Dragon King of the Dark Sun Miniatures by Ral Partha. Unfortunately, this is a miniature that's not made anymore. This was made back in '91. Ral Partha had the rights to the Dungeons & Dragons line at the time. And as impressive as this is, Ral Partha kind of lost its licensing when TSR was bought by Wizards of the Coast, and and they lost their license to make miniatures. So that means you can't legally they can't legally make any more of these. I wish someone would find miniature like this if you're a miniature creator, through the old-fashioned sculpting or just 3D printing. Take this miniature, not copy it, but be inspired by this to make similar looking ones, or maybe even brand new Dragon Kings or something along the lines. But that's kind of a faint hope. Maybe someone will come up with it one day. But by itself, it's just an impressive miniature, and I'll show a slideshow of this one and maybe all 3 of these together, and you can enjoy. Thank you all for watching. You have a nice day.